Hey. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Unmuted Conversations podcast with yours truly, Latasha Renee. As promised, we are back. We are back with another episode on tonight, Behind the Chapters. I have a special guest on tonight. Her name is Shannon. I cannot wait to introduce you guys to her. But before I bring her to the stage, I just wanted to greet everybody because it's been about a month since you and I have been together, since we've conversed. And listen, so many things have happened since the last time we were here. I guess it's been, like I said, it's been about a month. Since then, the Unmute Her book has been released. It was released on September the 27th, y'all. Can we clap? Can we clap? I had the opportunity to spend several months with some amazing women of God. Myself, along with 9 other women, took the time to share their story, our story, in a book. And guess what? We birthed that thing. Unmute Her is here. We've been talking about it for months. We hyped it up. We wanted y'all to get all of the joy that we were feeling, all of the excitement. We had interviewed some of our other co-authors on this podcast right here, leading up to it. Tonight, guess what? It's in my hands, y'all. It's in my hands, y'all. Unmute Her because silence was never the end of the story. It's here, y'all. We birthed a book. We birthed a book. There are, like I said, myself and 9 other amazing, powerful, brave, anointed women of God. Y'all have met some of them. So some our co-authors include Tina Thomas out of Atlanta, Georgia. LaShanta Cobras out of Clinton, North Carolina. LaQuina Herring, she is out of Woodbridge, Virginia. I had to get the city right. Shannon Nelms, who is our guest on tonight, she is in Prince George, Virginia. We have Angela Baldwin hailing all the way from West Palm Beach, Florida. Ladidra Janae, my little sister, Elizabethtown, North Carolina. We have Ashley Rose, she's in Fairfax Station, Virginia. We have Maya Leach out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and then yours truly. I am in Wilmington, North Carolina. So as you can see, we are everywhere. We came together and also L. Charmaine Williams. She is in Lebanon, Tennessee. I cannot forget her. I can't forget my girl. So as you can see, we are everywhere. We all came together as a sisterhood. Y'all saw the photos from the retreat. Y'all saw different things that we did. We did all of those things leading up to the birth of our baby. It is powerful. This book is anointed. I wanted to create a space where women could unmute their message and share their story with the world. You know that's what we do here at the Unmuted Conversations podcast. You know that we are all about faith, family, friendship, and a whole lot of mental health. And guess what? We talk about all of that in the book. Each one of these ladies, they share their story. We have people who talked about drug addictions. We talked about people who have had teen pregnancies, having a baby at 14. Like, what do I do? A baby raising a baby. We talked about domestic violence. We talked about divorcing. We talked about grief and loss. And not even just talking about those things, but overcoming those things, okay? It's not a place where it's just where you air your dirty laundry, but no, we told our story. We told how we overcame our story, and we told how we can help others do the exact same thing. My special guest on tonight, she's nervous, but she's ready. Guess what? She wrote chapter 4 in the book. So if you have the book, go ahead and get it out. Get it out. Like I said, she is our first author that we are interviewing since the release. Everybody else, they had to be a little secretive because the book wasn't released yet. But Shannon is here on tonight. She is going to be talking about the process leading up to the book, how things have been going since the book has come out, what the future may look like for her. And so I just wanted to, open my platform to these ladies just to give them space to share, because if you know anything about sharing your story, then guess what? You know that it's not easy. It's not always easy to be vulnerable to the world, because guess what? Your story involves other people. Your story involves family and friends and all of the like. So we wanted to create a space where people have the opportunity to just talk. And that's what the Unmuted Conversations podcast is. This is a safe place where I can allow people to share even the more. So she wrote about it, and guess what? Tonight we talking about it. So without further ado, I am going to bring my friend, my sister friend, my elder, because sis is 2 days older than me. I'm gonna bring her to the stage. I'm gonna let her talk to y'all. I'm gonna let her share on tonight. Look at her. I see you primping, girl. I see you primping, girl.
Not 2 days older, you're elder, girl.
Girl, you are my elder.
Hey.
You are 2 days older than me, so you're my elder.
Literally. Well, thanks for the respect.
Hey Shannon, thank you. First of
Hey.
all, let me thank you for taking time out of your busy, busy schedule to be with us on tonight, because I know
Thank
you could have been
you.
doing a number of things, but you
I
took some
know.
time to be with us. And so I want to say thank you
Thank
first.
you. I'm grateful to be here. Very thankful. It's a blessing. Thank you for having
Awesome. So I want you to
me.
take just a few moments to introduce yourself to our audience on tonight. Tell them a little bit about yourself and where you, well, I already told everybody where you're from, but you can remind them.
Okay, yep. So Shannon Nelms here. Yes, currently residing in Prince George, Virginia. Love Virginia, but originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, in a couple of different counties I grew up in while I was there. And if whoever's read the book, they see I've lived in Arizona when I was younger. So, but loving Virginia. So got if
Awesome.
you want to talk about more, I got 5 girls. I got two
Mhm.
grandsons. It's yeah, life keeps life and keeps me busy.
Listen, that's how it is, girl. And y'all, look at her. Do it look like she got 5 grown children and two
Yeah,
grandkids? Listen, I'm gonna tell you something.
literally. Thank
Listen,
you.
let me tell you, she doesn't look like what she's been through. And if you
Thank
have
you.
read her chapter, and I encourage you to do so,
Yeah.
then you know that the glory, the anointing that rests on her, listen, you know God has restored her. And I know
Yeah.
that she talked about that. We're going to get to that in a minute. She talks about that in the book, because I'm going to allow her to tell you, like I did announce that she is chapter number 4 in the book. There's 10 chapters. She is chapter number 4, y'all. I'm gonna let her tell you what her chapter title is about, and in a minute we ain't gonna go too fast. So we're gonna start from the beginning of how this entire process started.
Mhm.
Many of you know that in 2017 I wrote my memoir, my life story. Girl, I told it all the little
Got it on
skeletons
my
came,
bookshelf.
all of
Got
my little
it.
skeletons came tumbling out the closet.
They did.
And okay. And it was so funny because Shannon had reached out to me a little bit after it came out, and she purchased my book, and she was just in such awe, because mind you, Shannon and I went to high school to
Middle school, yeah.
middle
Sixth
school
sixth
together.
grade through 10th grade.
Yeah, middle school and high school
Mhm.
together. We went to school, and she had no idea of all of the things that I was going through and what life was looking like in my personal life. And so, isn't that something, how women, we
That
even
is crazy.
young adults, we hide stuff real well. Like
Yeah.
we wear these masks, we mute ourselves to kind of try to go with the flow, do all of the things. But guess what? At some point the silence has to end, and we have to unmute ourselves. And so I'm so thankful, because like I said, y'all, Shannon reached out to me after she read my book, and she was just saying how much it helped her. And so, ultimately I knew she had a story as well. I didn't know all of the details of her story, but I knew that she had one. And so whenever I first began to when God gave me this book, he placed certain people on my heart to reach out to. Some people had to apply and all of the things, but she was one of the people that God laid on my heart. And y'all, sis told her story. So before we get to that, I want to know, tell me what it was like to be a part of the book. And why did you say yes to me, girl? Because you could have turned me down.
Well, I was scared of you. No, I'm just playing. No, I really wasn't. I was. honored and blessed to even be asked, because for at least maybe the past, well, for a long time, my dad is always like, "Oh, you should write a story about your life," and I'm like, "Yeah, that would take a lot," but and I'm like, and it's a mess, So I was, that was like a seed planted, and then as time went by, and I came to Virginia, I started working with another young lady, and we just started talking about how we started talking to each other about our stories, and we were both like, man, you could share, that could be helpful. And she started
Mm-hmm.
telling me, hey, we should get a little a platform going where we can actually speak, go stand on stage and talk to women and people
Mm-hmm.
about our stories. And I'm like, girl, that would be kind of cool. And we didn't do nothing but talk about it. And so then, when you decided to come and say, hey, I got a little thing going or whatever, would you like to be a part of it? I was like, okay, God, is this what you're telling me? Is this a, opening an opportunity for me to, glorify what I feel like you planted inside of me to birth one day?
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, that gave me what I felt was like permission to say, okay, yeah, it's okay. And in my story, I do mention that after I read your story, I was like, oh, I can do this. And I literally started writing like three sentences. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's in the book. And I stopped. I was like, oh, this is too much. I got to actually think about what happened when I was younger, how the sequence of events played out, how I got to where I'm at. And it just felt too heavy. It felt
Yeah.
too much. It felt like I can't even concentrate enough to put it on paper. So
Mm-hmm.
I just stopped and I put it, the notebook sat somewhere in my desk until we talked about it. And when you said it was time for us to start writing, I hadn't wrote until you said, hey, it's time for you to start writing to the group. And so I searched all over for that notebook and I found the notebook because I couldn't remember where I put it. And I found it, and it was literally a year and one day after I started writing. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, that's kind of crazy. So let me write. And if I had to say, I may have written for like 3 hours, maybe just straight, just kept writing. I was just like splurting it all out. I
Yeah.
think when I sent you my rough draft, it was literally all over the place. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so doing that, was very freeing. It was still scary. It was emotional. It was hard, to write some of the stuff when I realized like what things were actually significant in my heart or in my mind, or things that had affected me, or the
Right.
things that I catch myself thinking about, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that was something that maybe bothered me. and
Yeah.
and it felt like throughout my whole life I didn't feel like I was able to process things
Mm-hmm.
in the moment before something else happened.
Right.
So I just, I felt like I just continued and just going and going and going and going, and never really, thought about, hey, calm down a little bit, process what you're going through, feel what you
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
and of course, in my head, even back then, I'm like, hey, I got to stay strong. At this point, I'm getting older, I got still family and members around, I got to show up for. Then I end up, having my baby. And I mean, it just like things transpired. And I felt like every single time I just had to, that survive mode, like just,
Absolutely.
so it was a lot. But like I said, in the end, even now, for people that have read it or the ones that haven't, I'm still like nervous, like, hey, they're actually seeing things that I went through, my thoughts, they're
Right.
hearing my words,
Right.
and I can't take it back now.
Right.
I can't say, hey, never mind, I changed my mind. So it's there, and that's still something I'm, going through the process of.
Yeah. And it is a process because, in this book, not just you, but everyone shared such intimate
Mhm.
details of their life, and everyone became vulnerable in different ways. One of our co-authors, I see Ashley Rose is on here tonight. Hey girl, hey.
Hey, girl.
I'm sure she can vouch for that as well. Like, listen, people had to really dig deep. And when it comes to editing, I'm gonna make you dig deep. I'm gonna be like, how did you
Oh, you
feel?
did.
Tell me, what did that look like? Show the emotion. And I'm gonna, I
Yeah.
push people as much as I can that's, safe and healthy. But so, I want you to know that, like, and anyone who's listening, sharing your story isn't, a walk in a park for everyone. Sometimes it's a process. I know, me and you, did a lot of talking during this process. This look, we went from like April to September when the book released, and we had a lot of conversations. And guess
Yes.
what? Sometimes you have to talk through some things. Sometimes you have to say, okay, am I healed from this? Do I need to not maybe put this in my chapter because I'm still maybe working through this? Or,
Yeah.
maybe listen, I'm ready to talk about it. And I think, even your chapter, one thing that I really appreciated, there were times when you said, listen, I'm afraid. I'm scared. I don't know if I can do this. My daughter hyping me up, but I'm afraid, but I know it's the time. And so
Yeah.
you acknowledged how you felt in the moment, but you were not going to allow those emotions to govern or hold you back from what you knew it was time for you to do. Like you knew
Yeah.
God was calling you to
I
write this
did.
book, and you like, listen, I do it afraid. Do it until that fear leaves. Pray
Yes.
as you go through it. And I saw you do that. I saw that spirit of fear, really lift as you began to, after we going back on the edits, you coming back, you was like, no,
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. No, I'm gonna put this in here because and I just to see the transformation in you, Shannon. And
Thank you.
and I know sometimes now it's out there. Listen,
Yeah.
you can't push delete now. But guess
No.
what? You have unmuted yourself, and that was the whole point.
Yeah.
And we all did it in a manner that was honorable, that was respectful, where we ain't out here trying to bash anybody. But we're going through what we need to go through. And listen, look at Ashley Rose. She said, yes, it's a process and healing is not linear, and that is
It's okay.
okay.
It's
So
okay.
it's okay if today you like, yes, I wrote a book, I told my story, and tomorrow you be like, oh my God, I wrote a book, I told my story.
Yeah.
Listen, it be like that sometimes. But at the end of the day, another woman can look at you and say, if she did it, if she can do it, if she has
Yes.
the strength, then I can do it too. You know what I say?
Yes.
You're that example when it comes to me.
Ah, really?
You read my book and was like, girl, I can do it too. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, you're right. I did.
yeah,
Yeah. That did make it made me feel that if you can speak your truth without being ashamed, that I could do it too, because a lot of things that I did write in the book and a lot of things that we took out of the book, or that I feel like, hey, when I write my full story, they might just know it all.
yeah, okay,
But I felt like, hey, I don't have to be ashamed, because obviously seeing things that you wrote, I was like, oh, okay, well, if she can say that happened to her, and it
yeah,
happened to me too, I can say it too,
yeah,
and it's okay. And
yeah,
it's not, because we're all human. I mean, it's not like, the ones that we all think that aren't going through that stuff, it's probably because they're not talking about it,
exactly,
so
exactly.
that did, help me learn to, I don't have to be ashamed for what I went through, where I've came from,
Right.
and where I'm at now, or what I learned from making those types of bad choices,
Yeah.
lessons that I went through, so
Absolutely. You know why? Because we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory. We all have
yes.
done things that we wish we could go back and change. We all have done things where you be like, girl, what in the world was I thinking? Like, what? you know but
Literally.
at the end of the day, one thing, our story, it brings women together. Not even just
Yes.
women, anybody. It brings people
Yeah.
together because
Right.
it lets people know that they're not alone. And that
Yep.
was one thing that I really wanted to emphasize with this
Yes.
book, because we have people, actually, like Ashley Rose is on here. Listen, she's also a testament. She's walking in her transformation as
Yes, she
well.
is. Yes.
She talked about losing her brother, like, and what that loss looks like. She
That
talked
was
about
sad.
working with, dealing with addictions and working with addicts, and how that, guess what, sometimes that's triggering.
Yeah.
We have other people who overcame addiction and listen out here preaching the gospel, prophesying accurately,
Yes.
all of the things. And so we have people who, yeah, they got pregnant at 14, but they out here doing the doggone thing right now.
Literally.
Domestic violence survivors. Like, this book encompassed so much, and guess what,
Yes.
it touches somebody. Maybe your story, maybe you can't relate to chapter 2, but surely maybe chapter 6 or 7 or
Right.
whatever it is. And so, one thing I wholeheartedly believe is that we don't have to be ashamed of our story. Maybe there was a season where you're like, ugh. But once you start surrounding yourself with women, that was one thing with the Unmute Her collective, is that I'm building a sisterhood so that whenever those times, Shannon, when you're feeling like, ooh, guess what? You got Ashley Rose on one side and El Shemaine on the other, and we're holding each other
Yes.
up and saying, listen, I got you.
Yes.
And so, and we all, when we're honest, we all had those moments during this journey of writing this book. There were moments where, we like, there was moments,
Yeah.
and then guess what, sisters? We argue, we fuss, we fight, but at the end of the day, we sisters,
Yeah.
and we came together and we did this. And I am just so proud of what we produced. Let me say it again, y'all. We birthed a baby. We
Literally.
gave
Pretty
birth.
baby.
Listen, hey girl, hey boo.
Hi,
We
girl.
birthed a baby. Me, Shannon, and eight other women. We did it.
Yeah.
We came together and we made things happen. Look, we got El Shemaine on here. She's also one of the
Thank you,
amazing
sis.
co-authors in the book. She says, "You are so amazing, Shannon. Your story
You're
is so
amazing. All
powerful."
of our sisters are so amazing.
Listen,
And it's crazy because even when we were all together in Florida, it's like we still didn't know everything about what each other had went through.
right,
And
right.
after I read everyone's story, I just wanted to hug and cry on all of
Yeah,
y'all and just like, oh my
yes.
God. But
Yes,
and how
I've been getting
strong
calls.
everyone
I've been getting
is.
calls like that because let me just say this to our audience. We went to Florida, all of the co-authors. We went to Florida in August, and guess what? At that time, I was the only person who had read the entire everyone's chapters. We did have a time where we talked about everybody talked about their stories and all of the things, but a lot of details were left out just because we
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff going on. We were doing in Florida, and so when people got the author copy of the book, it was like, oh my God, you
Yeah.
really start to see the strength
That's what it was.
that
Yeah.
that lies in this circle, and that is the power of unmuting yourself. This
Yes.
is what happens when women open their mouth and share their story. Guess what? It changes lives. Kawana, she purchased a copy of the book. She said she loved it. She was like, "Thank you to all the women for sharing your stories." I'm telling you, it
Yeah.
has been it has received such rave reviews. Like I've had
Yeah.
people
I've
reaching
got
out
good
to me.
reviews. Yes.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
El Shemaine, she said she read and had takeaways from each chapter. I found even my voice reading the
Yeah, me
chapters.
too. Yeah, I did too.
Listen, I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
I could
Yes.
relate
So
to a lot
Shannon,
of it.
yeah. So Shannon, go ahead and spill a little bit of the tea, girl. Since we talking about it. We talking about these
Oh,
powerful chapters. Tell everybody about chapter 4.
well, okay. Chapter 4, I titled it "Through Every Storm, God Still Restores," and it's completely true for everyone. But for me, it's definitely been a process of restoration for a long time. Through the my younger years, like I don't know, I guess I always felt unstable or whatever you want to call it, and I never knew exactly, like I said, how to process things. So the choices that I made as I got older, or the things that I allowed to put myself through, and I didn't change it. I definitely learned from it, and everyone always says like, oh, thank God I went through everything I went through, because that's who I am now. I definitely feel that way. Like, I mean, obviously I didn't want to go through some of the bad things that
Right.
I feel were bad. I lost a child, and that's birth in there. Got married 17, that's that's in there. I was in some controversial type relationships, and I had my kids, and it's still an unstable life, growing up.
Yeah.
And it's like, even as many times as I went through to rock bottom, I guess you would say. It's like I made it through, and I know it wasn't on my own account. I know that God saw me through, even when I didn't actually reach out and say, "Hey, I need you to save me," because it's like I felt like I didn't know how to pray. I felt like I didn't know how to talk to Him. I felt like He was ashamed of me. I felt like He was mad at me. I thought I wasn't worthy enough. I'm thinking like, I'm over here doing this kind of thing, so why be able to ask God, like, hey, can you help me? So I went through life thinking, knowing that that's not the type of God that we serve, because
Right.
He's a loving God,
Right.
and He is a forgiving God, and He's a merciful and graceful God. So but it took reflection, back on to seeing like, hey, God really did never leave my side. He was there the entire time, no matter what circumstance I went through, that obviously, I survived through, that he could, it could have been any other way. And and even if things would have been any worse than they were, I still know it would have been something that would have built me to get to the place that I am at now. And just realizing, how much he's restored, when he says that like he's going to restore you, and if you allow him to do that, man, it's overwhelming, you know um and it's just amazing to know that the place that I am at now, from a place that I thought I'd never ever be able to
Yeah.
attain or achieve or
Yeah.
be even in that, in what I am in now. And I know it can only get better. I know obviously there's still going to be hard times, there's still going to be struggles, there's still going to be stresses, but through the whole thing, I'm learning still to continue trusting God, still believing that if he did it for me then, he did it not even just for me, he did it for everyone. He's still going to be there, and
Yeah.
that whatever trial I do have to go through, there's still a restoration process that I end up going through, no matter what the circumstances is. So yeah, I talk about, some relationship, and that's the other thing I was going to say, that is that the hardest part was that, like you said, some of our stories include other people, and that was a hard thing for me, that was a scary thing for me, because for a long time I went through life like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I wonder what they're going to think about me. I don't want them to think that I think bad about them. I don't want them to think that, I don't want them to feel offended, all the stuff like that, which, help me keep muted, help me keep silent, and so speaking of things and writing it out, and then now these same people that I have not mentioned their names or anything, but through my experiences, now they're actually, seeing it and reading it, and it's actually a little bit of healing, because they still love me,
Yeah.
they still support me, they're still there, so
Yes. Listen, you said a lot, Shannon. And listen, the people who are on tonight listening live, it is resonating with everyone that's on here. Kawana, she commented and she said that it helped give her confidence to tell her story. So
wow,
that's the most beautiful
amazing.
thing is that when we come to the revelation that our story isn't just about us. It isn't just for us. We went through things for
Yes.
a reason, and God is going to get the glory one way or the other. Like it
Yes.
kind of gives us, yeah, we might be afraid. Yeah, we might wonder what people will think, but we know that we can go for it because we know that we can help someone else. And I want to go back because one thing that Kawana said when you were speaking, she said, "Yes, I struggle with the same thing." When you mentioned about what are people going to think when they read my story? No,
Mhm.
I'm not saying their names, but everybody know who my baby daddy is, or everybody know who my husband was, or different people
Yeah.
in there. And so, of course, one thing that I told y'all, because I dealt with the same thing. Whenever I wrote my first book, baby, guess what? We told a lot. I said I talked about some things about my mom because I didn't have the best home life growing up. I grew up in a very toxic home environment. Now, of course, I didn't have the language for that as a child, but as an adult, I'm like, yo, girl, that was toxic. That was a hostile environment.
Yeah.
And so but guess what? It was still my story. It still shaped me. And one thing that I did, I talked to my mom ahead of time. And of course, I never said my mom's name, but everybody know who my mama was. So, but I talked to her ahead of time. She read my book before the public ever did,
Wow.
because I wanted to. One thing about it, same thing I said to y'all, is that it's very important to be honorable. It's very important to not bash people, but it is important that you tell your truth because other people's actions have affected us. And
Right.
we have the right to be honest about those things. So I
Yes.
know that's a lot of times that's what keeps people muted. That's
Yeah.
why people don't want to share their story because they're worried about offending people. But guess
Hmm.
what? When you tell the truth,
Telling the
what can they
truth.
say? And of course, I coach y'all. I give you creative ways on how to word things or how to say things. If we need to use a disclaimer and say, the names have been changed to protect the innocent, or those involved. There's
Right.
ways to do it. The point is, get your core message out. What are
Yeah,
you trying
your
to tell
story.
people? What is the message that you're trying to convey? It's not always about naming names, because for the most part, most of y'all didn't even say names.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Not at all.
you know what I mean? And so, but I understand that that's a real thing, and that's one of the things that keeps people muted from sharing their story. So, Kawana, I understand what you're saying. I hear you. I really hold space for you on that, because I coach a lot of women through that same thing, and that's real. And if of course, we can talk offline about that as well. And then Ashley Rose said yes, being refined through the fire. El Shemaine, the weapons formed, but they couldn't prosper, baby. That's the word. That is
Exactly.
scripture, honey. She
Yes.
said yes. And then El Shemaine said it's very hard. Some people will call themselves cutting you off, but it is themselves. Wait a minute. Let me read it.
Didn't need
It's
all
very
perfect.
hard. Some people will call themselves cutting you off, but is it themselves cutting you off, or God cutting them out when you could not? Listen, hey, it
Yeah.
could be. You just never know. And listen, let me say this: you're not responsible for how other people respond to your truth. Shannon, you wrote your chapter. You wrote chapter 4. You shared your story. You spoke with power, as did everyone else, all of the other women. If somebody get mad, guess what? That has nothing to do with you. That's
Yeah.
none of your
None of
business.
my business.
That's
Yeah.
none of your business. Okay?
I'm learning that. I'm learning that.
Your responsibility now is to keep being unmuted.
Yeah. And
Because
that's
bigger picture, what you have to understand is, you unmuted her so you can unmute her. The
yeah.
next woman. The
You're right.
next woman who is struggling, like, whoo, I got married, and baby, it was, whoo,
And
I
I
should
got
have done
five
that.
hers. I
You
got
know
five
what
hers sitting
I
at
mean?
this
Yeah, you got
house, and
5 babies
they need to
looking
be
back
able to
at you
unmute
like,
themselves too.
yeah.
And I want to, I encourage them like to be open and honest, like
Mhm.
even before the book. I think me and you've discussed it before, where I have allowed them the space to be able to say, hey, did I do something that hurt you? Did
Yeah.
your sisters do something that
Yeah.
hurt you?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even always a negative. It was like, hey, let your sisters know like how you appreciate them, what you like
Mhm.
about them. And so I feel like me being able to hold that space for them
Mhm.
gives them their permission to, and then
Yeah.
seeing what they're seeing now as
Yeah.
their mother,
Mhm.
that yeah, that's gonna be a seed planted in them to be able to, and they got stories of their own, and
Yeah.
poor things, what I put them through life. you
Listen,
know
you were learning and you were growing. And so think about it. You think about how you say, oh, I wonder how people are going to think. But think about it. Your 5 daughters, they have a story too. And so maybe one day they'll say, my mama was at the club all night. I remember. She think I don't remember, but I wish my mama was at
yeah,
home.
no,
But you have to
I
be like,
not
that's her
know that.
story. You
Yeah,
know what I
you're
mean? You
absolutely
know what I
right.
mean? And so, but there comes a point where you have to, take responsibility for the part that you play
Accountability,
in
yeah, you're right.
your story, as well as how it affects someone else. But at the end of the
That's
day, let me tell you what I won't be do. I will not be held hostage to my past.
true. Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
I don't want to either.
Yeah, and the one thing that you did, you took a big, huge first step by sharing your story in the book, because I know it wasn't easy. I Listen, Shannon, I've been knowing you since the 6th grade. You my elder. I Listen. I just want to know. It feels so good to say it that you are my
You know
elder.
what? And it's like I can't even say anything because I'm like, yeah, 2 days, but still, I guess
Two
it's
days.
still.
I'm 2 days your junior. So So yeah, I just want to say I'm so 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 proud of you, Shannon. Like, I
Thank
really
you.
really am. And I hope that everyone who is tuned in live right now on the Unmuted Conversations podcast, that they hear your heart, they hear what we're saying. Even people who catch the replay, I hope that they
Yes.
really understand the importance of unmuting yourself. And I say, and our subtitle is because silence was never the end of the story. Guess what? Sometimes there is oftentimes a season of silence. A lot
Right.
of times we, as women, we have a season of survival mode. So sometimes we have to be quiet. I tell people all the time, when you're bitter, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Hush.
You put
Hush
yourself
until you're
get
healed.
yourself in trouble if not.
You know what I'm
Then
saying?
you'd be more ashamed to write that. Well, this is how I
Okay.
acted.
Exactly. So, there is
Yeah.
a season of silence where maybe that's the time where God is working on you. He has you on the potter's wheel where he's, doing all of the things in you. But baby, then it's time to open your mouth. It's time to unmute her. And just to see you come through, just to see you from where you were in April, May, we start
Right.
whatever,
Beginning of the year.
months
Yeah.
ago, at the beginning of
Yes.
the year, to see
Yes.
where you are now, just to witness the amount of growth. I'm so proud of you. I
Thank you.
am.
Proud of you as well.
Thank you. I am so just excited to see where this takes you because,
Thank you.
I know that, and I say this to all of y'all, I know that it's going to open so many doors for you because guess what? This ain't about me. I wanted to, yes, create space for y'all to share your story, but ultimately, God has a plan, an individual
Yes.
plan for all of us. Of course, this isn't the end for us. We'll do collaborative things together, but ultimately, God has a plan for Shannon,
Yes.
directly for Shannon on how he's
I
going to use
believe
the
that.
story. You have a story of
Amen.
restoration. You have a story of letting people know that guess what? God is the rock at the bottom. You talk about
Yes.
rock bottom, baby.
He is
God
the
is
rock
the
at the
rock
bottom and
at the
is.
bottom.
Yes.
And so it's just not something that you read somewhere. You lived
No.
it. You
Lived it.
have the experience. And so I want you to continue to open your mouth, continue to unmute yourself, continue to encourage your girls to unmute themselves as well. Anybody that you run into, I want you to keep this up. The book is out, y'all. The book is out. It is available everywhere. But let me tell you what I want you to do. I want you to look Shannon up. Shannon Nelms. Let me put her information on the screen, y'all. Let me tell you where you can find her. Y'all see that? Facebook, Shannon Nelms. If you are listening to this on Spotify or anywhere else audibly, that's Shannon, Shannon. Her last
Yes.
name is N, like November, ELMS. Shannon Nelms. I want you to reach out to her and get a copy of this book. You're going to read her story and you're going to read 9 other stories as well. But I promise you, her story is a story of restoration. Her story is a story of how God has picked her up out of the pit and now she sits in a palace, y'all. The girl is soaring by leaps and bounds. Reach out to her. She's gonna autograph it for you.
Oh, yes.
And if for some reason, sis is sold out, because listen, we selling out around here. We
Yeah. I
selling
got two
out
more
down
right
here.
now. I'm going to have to put in another order.
Listen, she got 2 more, so I would behoove you if you want a copy. You might want to go ahead and reach out to her to
Yes.
get you an autograph copy. She is going to restock real soon.
Yes.
If for some reason you cannot get up with her, I'm sure she can. You can look up any of the other co-authors. Have them get you a copy. It's also available on Amazon, but don't get it on Amazon if you want an autograph copy. We like signing our name, okay?
Yes, we do.
So look up one of the co-authors. Um, Reach out to Shannon. She would be more than happy to get an autographed copy for you. Before I let you go, we are 41 minutes after the hour. So
Okay.
once again, thank you so much to everyone who has tuned
Yes.
in, everyone who has shared, everyone who has commented. Listen, y'all going off in the comments. Thank you so much, Ashley Rose. I'm proud of you too, Ashley. You did a phenomenal
Yes.
job. Y'all, she's
Amazing.
chapter 7 in the book. She has an amazing story to tell as well. We got El Shemaine,
Definitely.
sis. She's chapter 9 in the book. I'm
Amazing
telling
story,
you, look at
too.
all these co-authors on here pulling up in the comments.
Hey, sisters.
I'm so excited. Shannon, before I let you go, I just have one more, well, maybe 1 or 2 more questions.
Okay.
I want to know, what do you hope other women take away from reading your chapter?
I do want women to take away just that, like, that it's okay to have went through whatever you went through,
Yeah.
and that that things are gonna pick up, even if you feel like the seasons are longer than others, you know.
Yeah.
But I do want everyone to know, you know, definitely seek God's face. You know, I know that that sounds like, well, everybody just says, you know, seek his face, but it's literally the truth. It's literally the only answer. You know, seek therapy. I've been in therapy before. You know, spend time with yourself, um, process what you went through,
Yeah.
um, process your feelings, and know that it's okay to feel the way you feel. You have every right to feel how you feel when whatever you go through or whatever you feel someone has put you through, just, you know, with the self-awareness of how things affect you, you know, so to be able to grow in life, and that not to be ashamed of whatever you go through. You know, we all make decisions and we're not perfect,
Right.
but that doesn't mean you're any less worthy. You know, don't be ashamed. That it's okay to talk about what you think, what you feel someone's done to you.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. You know, I just want them to know that it's, you know, not to be afraid or ashamed to go through things or make, you know, decisions that may not be the best ones. You might think that they're the best ones in that moment, but, you know, God
Yeah.
has a funny way of putting you in another moment. You'd be like, wait a
Yeah.
minute. You know, definitely the plans that I thought, you know, life was looking like a year ago, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, you know, I'm gonna, you know, this is gonna, it seems like it's gonna last forever. Life completely changed and turned upside down. It, not in a bad way, you know, just things that I never thought or expected, you know, are
Yeah.
happening now for me. And that still takes me reaching out to God, seeking his face, trusting him, crying to him, you
Yeah.
know, saying, hey, you know, I need your strength to help me get through this, you know. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, ladies, what I would say, just to echo what Shannon said, the takeaway for from her story as well as the other stories. Listen, seek the Lord, seek God's face, keep your ear to God's mouth, baby. Therapy. If you know me, you know I'm all about God plus therapy equal healing.
yes,
So talk to somebody, talk it out. Maybe this is not the season for you to write a book or tell your story or get on the stage and do all of the things. Maybe this is your season of silence and healing. That's okay, because guess what? Once you're healed, you can share your story. And so that is one thing that I want people to really understand. You got to do the work. But also, don't beat yourself up about things that you did. I say all the time, don't beat yourself up about things that you did in survival mode. You were just trying to make it. You were just
yeah.
trying to live. You didn't have all of the information that you needed. And even if you did, child, listen, we all be
we
tripping
we
sometimes.
think we know everything
Right. We
since we
think
got our
we know.
degree.
Right. Since you got your degree and everything.
Yeah,
Listen, we be out here just doing all kinds of stuff. And
literally.
but thank God for grace. Thank God that
Yes.
He never took His hand off of us. Thank God that like you said in your chapter, He is a restorer, He is a keeper. And like El Shemaine said, listen, if you don't have no test, how you gonna have a testimony? Come on
Literally.
now. Listen. And listen, one of our other listeners on here said Shannon is definitely an overcomer. That was someone on
Oh,
YouTube
thank
commenting
you.
saying Shannon is definitely an overcomer. So
Thank
awesome.
you.
We have people
Yeah,
watching live tonight on Facebook
love
as
it.
well as on YouTube. Like, I'm so glad. Spread the word. I want everyone to know
Yes.
who Shannon Nelms is. I want
Thank
everyone
you.
to know her story. I want everyone to know that it does not matter what you have done, God can restore you. You can go
Really.
from a high school junior married, to living in the big
Drop
house
out.
over here, to be a homeowner, doing well, raising five amazing children,
Yes.
two amazing grandchildren. I'm telling you, where you begin is not how the story ends. And so you're proof of that. I'm glad that the Lord allowed me to play just a little part in, your
Yes.
journey and sharing your story. But like I said, it doesn't end here. In the meantime, everybody, get the book. Get the book. Y'all see it. We birthed a baby, y'all. We birthed a book, y'all. Listen, I ain't got no natural children, but I got a couple books. Okay. So thank you
Oh,
all for
you can borrow
joining
some of
us.
my girls, girl.
Nah. We like the kind that don't talk.
Oh, okay, okay.
We ain't doing that. So
Yes.
thank you. We are 47 minutes after the hour. To everyone who has joined us live, thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
engaging with
you.
us on tonight. Thank you so much to everyone who will watch the replay. If you are wanting to get more information on the Unmuted Conversations podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Unmuted Conversations all together, no spaces. If you want to look at previous shows, you can do so there. I have interviewed most of the co-authors. Please go in there, check out their stories. They all have copies of the book as well. If you want to purchase an autographed copy from them, please, please, please support them. Please do so. If you are wanting to follow us via social media, we're on Instagram. We are on Instagram as Unmute Her Collective. All together, no spaces. We there. I'm over there helping women unmute a message and share a story with the world. That's what we do. If you are wanting to look me up online as far as my website, I got one of them too. Of course, it is unmutehercollective.org. You also have the option to subscribe where you can get new upcoming information. Anytime I do another book collaboration, we do have another book collaboration coming up in the next few months. If you're interested in being a part of that, sharing your story, go to my website, submit your email address so you will have that. You'll be the first to get the form to do that. I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to do so. Also, you can find out more about us, what we do here. I don't just publish books, but I also do coaching. I host retreats. I host healing circles. I do one-on-one things. I edit books. Even if you don't want to publish through me, I edit books. I format books. I do all of the things. So feel free to reach out to me via my website. Again, that is unmutehercollective.org. If for some reason you are interested in being a guest on my show, just want to let you know I only interview women. That's my audience. That's who I created this platform for. Please shoot me an email at unmutedconversations@gmail.com. That's all together, no spaces. Unmutedconversations@gmail.com. Send me an email, share, tell me a little bit about your story. Why do you think, you want to be a guest on the show? And we can see if we're a good fit. Maybe, we can make something happen. So I do want to hold space for not just these women, but for any woman who has a story, who has a message, and you're ready to share it. If you're like, listen, I've been sitting on this for a long time and I believe it's going to help somebody, bang my email. I really want to have a conversation with you. I really want to, see what all you have to say. I want to create space for you. Once again, thank you so much for Kiwana for, encouraging everyone to get the book. Listen, I hope they don't regret it. Listen, as far as I know, they won't regret it. Because everybody who
No.
have talked to say they don't regret it. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
I want to
Um,
thank you too, Latasha, for being such an inspiration to me.
oh,
And and I guess us, going back as far as we did is more of an inspiration because it's like you said, you never think that life right then and there is going to evolve into what God has, He got a
yeah.
whole plan that we have no idea about. So thank you for being such an inspiration. Thank you for pushing me, believing in me, and having faith that I could do it even when I thought, oh, this is gonna be too much. You're like, girl, you got this. And I was like, yeah, I do, don't
Girl,
I? I'm like, do I?
you do. You do.
So thank
Listen, to
you. Thank
God
you
be
for
the glory. I
everything.
promise you that the Lord has graced me with this. He graced me to be able to help women to share their story. And so
Pick the perfect
I'm
one.
honored. I'm really, really honored because I know how challenging it can be, but
Yeah.
I also know the blessing that comes from it. Like once you share your
Yeah.
story, when you start to see chains breaking off
Yes.
other people, like I'm telling you, it is so amazing. And it's let me tell you, it's not me. It is the anointing, it is the hand
Yeah.
of God. Because if he ever take his hand off of me, baby, I might can't spell my
Well,
name.
your obedience is working, and your
Yeah,
transparency. Your transparency
yeah.
gives us space to be transparent, and I know that being transparent helps others. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you so much, El Tremaine. Listen, like I said, it's my pleasure. I'm glad that I was able to help y'all through this process. And I said this to somebody the other day. I was like, y'all, I made my baby sister an author. Like, oh my God. And so now I get
Well,
to say that to, y'all as well. Like, y'all are authors now. Add
thank you,
that
girl.
to your resume, baby.
I
You are
got you,
author. Okay.
girl. I thank you. I'm about to be a four-time author like you want soon.
Listen, I'm
Watch.
telling you,
Watch and
I'm
see.
here to push you. I'm going to push
Thank
you. If
you.
that's what you want,
Yes.
I'm gonna help you make it happen because
I
that's what
got
I
you,
do.
girl.
Also, just if I let everyone know how to reach me. Please let me just tell you this. I do have some exciting things coming up. 2026 about to be lit. Okay. We got
Okay.
more book collaborations coming up. We have more people reaching out for solo book projects. I have a conference that's coming up. Y'all know we do
Okay,
retreats.
girl.
So we doing all of the things. So
I'm marking me
please stay
down.
connected. So many beautiful things in store for you. I have a huge announcement that I am releasing at the top of next week. So stay connected to me on Facebook, right here at Latasha Renee on this page.
Thank
Definitely
you.
hit me up on Instagram. Usually I drop stuff over there first. But either way, like I said, also put in your email address on my website. That's where you'll get information as well. And if you are interested in writing a book, if you are interested in doing a book collaboration, if you're a person is like, listen, I got a story, I don't really know what I want. But I got something going on. God is doing something on the inside of me. You're going to want to be connected for this next announcement
Yes.
that I have coming up. So
Okay.
I'm not going to prolong the hour. We are 53 minutes
Girl, we did. We talked too
hour.
much.
Listen, this how we do. Me and Shannon get together and we take the
Oh,
whole
girl.
thing.
I
Them
go on and
conversations be
on.
unmuted. But I am gonna let you guys go.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
support,
guys.
y'all. I could not do this without y'all. Thank you for continuing
Thank
to
you.
pull up
Thank you
in
for all the support
the
I've
virtual
gotten too
studio.
from you guys that have purchased a book for me and got my autograph and
Yeah,
a little of something other that I wrote in there for each of you
yeah,
guys. So
yes.
thank you guys for the support as well.
And I encourage everyone continue to support Shannon with her book sales. Continue to reach out to her. I promise you, she is. I can endorse this one right here. She has a heart of gold. She is
Thank you.
beautiful inside and out. Like I
Thank you.
promise you, she's the one of my biggest cheerleaders. You hear her, like this is
Mm,
her. This
thank
ain't for
you.
show. She ain't putting
Nah.
on for y'all. This is really her character. So please
Thank
reach out
you.
to her and get a copy of the book. Like I said, it is everywhere. Unmute her because silence was never the end of the story. Here is the back cover. You can see that on there. Like I said, it is 10 chapters in here. I'm telling you, we talk about everything. We got chapters, what did you die? That's one of the chapters, okay? Think about
Hmm.
it. Puzzle pieces of purpose. We got unbreakable. We got, you're asking the wrong questions. That's one of them. You want to read that one.
Becoming.
Straighten your crown. Baby, is that
Hmm.
crown tilted a little bit? Straighten that up. We got
Literally.
gaslighting in God's house.
Mm.
You might want to
That
read
was something. I said, oh,
this.
look, it's okay to share stuff like that too, I guess. Okay. Let me see what I got for that. See what I got in my
We
files.
listen. We can share these things. We unmuting ourselves. So
Yes.
thank you to everyone who pulled up
Thank
on
you.
tonight. If you enjoyed it tonight, feel free to share the replay with somebody that you know and love, and someone that you think would be blessed by this. Like I said, get a copy of your book. Don't buy it on Amazon unless you want it to be blank and bare, and don't nobody want that. So reach out to one of these co-authors, get you an autograph copy, and until next time, see you soon.
Bye.